Caught me mid-laugh.
Exactly.
I can't have that salty. Pass the salt. Welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David.
And I'm Gary.
And today we're going to talk about... I don't know what we're talking about.
We're talking about a whole bunch of things.
Okay, that's why I don't know what we're talking about.
So
we're talking about a whole bunch of things.
So we had done a reading on the Supreme Court, Trump's Supreme Court.
We've been known to do those on occasion.
Yeah. What we have been known to do lately as a
Trump
twin...
Supreme Court's the U.S. Supreme Court, although he's put 3 people on.
Yeah. We're probably not going to do a Trump health reading on this one. But Dave was throwing cards, and he had this really interesting spread where I forget what question we were asking, but he sort of zoomed in.
And we forget the answer too, but it was really interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
you
check
go watch
it.
Yeah.
Link in the description.
But he kind of tapped into the energy of the wives behind Alito and Clarence Thomas.
I had a foundational card of a Queen of Wands and an overarching card of the Empress. It was just like, it took me to the wives, which I did not expect. That was not a direction I was expecting to go.
Yeah, it was actually fascinating watching it unfold. And I remember
watching him get it wrong through the whole reading.
Well, I've gotten used to that. But it was like, wow. I remember thinking when he was done, I was like, I was not expecting that we were going to go that direction. And I really would like to dig into that a little bit more. And then Teresa Berryman, who's one of the commenters, made a mention that Libby was even... kind of acknowledged that was a really good reading on the Supreme Court justice.
Even Libby was stunned.
Libby was. Yeah.
I'm sure there's an Australian saying about even a blind squirrel finds a net on occasion.
Exactly. So it's just like, okay, let's take a bit of a deeper dive into it. It's great because it's something that it doesn't involve something that rhymes with rump.
Not our blind squirrel.
Yes.
Blind squirrel who comments on all videos.
Yes, she's very ubiquitous in the comments section.
She sees 2 nuts.
Exactly. So let's. I'm going to let Dave sort of take a little bit more. Let's read a little more energy about the energy on Ginny Thomas.
Yeah, I'll start with Ginny. If you want to do Mrs. Alito, I'll do Mrs.
Yeah, I'm going to look up her name so we don't have to call her Mrs. Alito.
I forget. I can remember her flag, Vergonia. Well, the lady's cray. German.
Martha Ann.
I should be able to remember that.
God, I don't know how you forget it, right?
Okay,
Martha Ann Alito.
I want to look at more of the energy around Ginny Thomas and her influence over Clarence Thomas with Supreme Court rulings.
For entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. That's what Ginny Thomas is. Now, they do... She and... I knew it. I was literally starting to say, she and Clarence Thomas refer to each other as best friends. And I was going to say, as I flip the card over, I would expect, though, the Lover's card or the 2 of Cups to come up. And it's the Lover's card. She and Clarence Thomas are best friends. This is one of those divine thing where these 2 souls came down here to live that life together and experience this life and the lessons learned. They are so intertwined. Again, people, they talk about twin flames, and usually you tend to think of twin flames as, I'm not your twin flame.
We could both be flaming.
Being... really, really close, beyond soulmates. It's like taking soulmates to an exponential. Clarence and Ginny Thomas are those people. Now, you might say, oh, but their politics are ugly. And yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not twin flames. Those two. We should all be so lucky to find that person in our
that
lives.
life partner.
Yeah. Okay, so that's them. And... crossed with the 5 of Swords. This is one of the reasons why they're such good twin flames. They both know they're right. I think they both agree with each other, and they both know they're right 100% of the time. And everybody else is wrong. They're just cut from the same cloth in that regard. And underneath it all is the Fool card. Yeah, they've done this this lifetime was a lifetime of companionship for the two of them, and for them to, I think, in some ways, to really understand a very basic right versus wrong type of lesson. I don't think there's a lot of compromise in their world. Winning and losing, right and wrong. Mm-hmm. I think they have to learn about compromise.
Well, this is also the win at all costs kind of card too, right? So, and I would agree with you. They're both right.
Right.
Way right.
Yeah, very far. Like Rush is right. Okay, so in the past, you got the Temperance card. I talk about Twin Flames. This is the mixing of their ideas, their soul energy, their spiritual energy is blended back and forth, where you had two individuals to start with, but as they've spent time together, they've blended to become basically the male and female version of the same person. Mm-hmm. Look at the major arcana here. Great cards, by the way. Mm-hmm. Current situation is the Star card. The Star card's sometimes the best of America. It's the calm after the storm. But it's also interesting where the cups are blending here. The cups, when you pour them out, one's going into the pool and one's going onto the ground. One is connected with spirit. The other is not connected with spirit. It's not going back to the collective. So there's while they may have blended together, I don't think they're blending back to spirit. So somewhere they probably had a choice where you blend together and then you help the collective out with it. But I don't think they're there for helping the collective. They're there for themselves. And this is the problem that came with it. Page of Pentacles, messaging about money and values. I think their ideas of values are similarly aligned. But I think where they were led off course onto the ground was their quest for money. Clarence Thomas, when he was put into the Supreme Court, soon afterwards was complaining about how much more money he would have made if he had stayed in the private sector rather than becoming a Supreme Court justice. And at one point, near the late 90s, early aughts, he started making noise that he was going to step down as Supreme Court justice because he wanted more money. Enter Harlan Crow. Yep. And all of a sudden, money was no longer an issue, and he was no longer making noises about leaving. Plus, the Supreme Court justices got a pay increase because of that. The conservatives panicked. They couldn't let this guy off the court. So money seems to have led them astray. Their current situation is now the fight. Now they're struggling to stay on top. They're older and they cannot fight off the challenges. They're running out of time to fight off the challenges. They've really gone down a course and they need to course correct. I don't know if they have enough runway now to land the plane. Outcome is the Seven of Cups. Integrity versus non-integrity. This one, I guess, I was talking about how they're down here to learn that lesson and integrate. Were you bamboozled by riches and you gave up your moral compass in the pursuit of wealth? And I think that's kind of the lesson. By taking this path where they're not adding back to the collective and taking this splashing on the ground, they will be learning a lesson on greed and not considering the consequences, as opposed to making decisions that would help everyone, even if it doesn't help them. They got, basically, it's like a lesson of selfishness. They've learned what selfishness is, and they've experienced a life of selfishness. And maybe that's what they were supposed to learn, but if they were going to pursue a higher path, it would be about selflessness. Yes. You're talking somebody who was a Supreme Court justice. It gives you the power and the authority to shape the law, the laws of the land.
You're interpreting the Constitution and how it applies to the law.
Yeah, and you can take two paths. You can take a selfish path or a selfless path. And it looks like certainly Clarence Thomas made his choice, and Ginny Thomas and Clarence Thomas are the same person. So they both made that choice.
Yeah. So when I was looking at your spread, you got the Temperance card in the past. And to me, that was kind of like in the past, he was taking the more selfless path. Well,
ask Anita Hill about that.
Yeah. I'm not saying he was a Boy Scout, but
there was James Kirk.
Once you got to the current energy with the star, it became more me. It's more all about me. And the shift occurred.
Yeah, when you join the Supreme Court, it's a team, and he's trying to put the I in team.
Yes, right. And
there you go.
And then you get that Page of Pentacles about money. And this is the things that I worship and I value, and you should be held accountable for what I value.
You do value money, don't you?
I am so like that.
Leave a note in the comments. Send a donation in the comments.
Yes.
Feed his avarice.
Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McGarry.
Yes. Going to fill a vault with gold coins and dive into it.
I am so not interested in money. As long as I have enough to be comfortable, put food in the pantry and keep a roof over my head and the lights on.
By the way, how many pounds of pasta do you have in the pantry?
I probably have about 8 pounds of pasta.
8 pounds of pasta. His kids tease him all the time.
Hey, you never know when people are coming over, right?
8 pounds of pasta.
Hey, you can feed a lot of families with 8 pounds of pasta.
It's just him and his wife here.
Well, currently.
They gorge themselves.
I got and cats. 3 cats that love pasta.
Yeah, they do not.
they totally do.
Well, they probably do. They don't like their cat food. That's for damn sure.
No, they're not big fans.
Cat food is wasted on cats. Ask any dog owner.
Yes.
Their dog's like, cat food, you love me.
Yeah, that was
the out the other end is the problem.
With Dallas, it was never a problem. I never ever had to throw out cat food when I had my dog.
Tell me your 2nd grade teacher's name again and what street you grew up on for all those other password answering questions.
Okay, so we've looked at the energy on Clarence and Ginny there. Should we go deeper, or do you want to grab bag it?
No, go to Martha Ann and what's Sam Alito? Sam Alito?
Yeah, I think so.
Samuel Alito.
Let's look at the energy at the Alito.
The
Alito family. Oh dear!
All on the other end of the spectrum.
Yes. Okay, so foundation.
Oh, she loves flags. I don't know how many cards have flags on it. That might be the only one that has a flag on it. I'm calling... This is not the death card. This is Martha and her freaking flags, man.
It's... the death is the end of a cycle. And it's...
No, this is just look at the picture. You don't need to read the card. Look at the picture. That's all this is telling you.
Well, it's funny because this guy is kind of a judge, or is more of a bishop.
Pope, yeah.
But he's just like, I don't care about your career. I'm hanging my flag. I'm flying my flags. And let's face it, that's what got her in the news cycle.
Yeah, Bergonia.
The cross, the challenge is the
many flagpoles, so little time.
8 of Wands. The communication of these flags has been coming out. Dave's having a lot of fun with this.
Oh, jeez. And there are times I just think Gary should just throw the cards and me read them.
Yeah, exactly. Energy underneath is the 2 of Swords. I really get the impression that she is completely in charge of this relationship.
Yeah.
So, there's choices you can make. You can remain under the radar and let your husband do his job, or you can just take charge. And she is not a fly under the radar person. I'm getting that impression. In the past, I've got my husband on the Supreme Court.
You better believe she is so freaking proud about that. She would be one of those women that, the mom, my son, the doctor, my husband, the Supreme Court justice. No, F you.
She might be living vicariously through him.
Oh, God, you think?
Right? Current energy, the 9 of Cups, hopes, wishes, dreams, fulfilled. Yeah, just, hey, she's loving where she's at right now.
By the way, throw your under the bottom card again. One of the things I also get from this is her lack, her biasness on this. This is a crossroads. You're making choices. To me, that's a bias. She's not with the blindfold, especially with the Justice card. She is not an unbiased individual And when you're the Supreme Court justice, you're supposed to interpret the Constitution and take your own biases out of it as much as you can.
It's like
obviously
almost like reading tarot.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to go there, but obviously, you have conservative justices and liberal justices. But she's not bound by any oath.
No, yeah. You're going to lean how your life experience will influence how you lean.
I love
right?
the fact that you got the flag card. That is just amazing.
So, right now, she's in the catbird seat. She is living vicariously through her husband, and, kind of makes you wonder if she's creating policy for him. Overarching energy is the 8 of Swords.
Don't get hung up on the gender on this one.
Yeah,
see? When you take out the gender on it, you see where it's going?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that was very mind-freeing, actually. The 8 of Swords feels like you're trapped in a situation and there's no clear path out of it.
Powerless?
Yes.
Who's feeling powerless?
Yes, where Dave is leaning hard on this one that's Sam Alito.
Yep.
That's Justice Alito.
Hey, I thought I was a Supreme Court justice.
It's
Who wears the pants in that family?
It could also be that
Sam Alito looks good in a dress, don't you think?
Indeed. That his wife is feeling like she can't really be herself. Because when she flies her flag, bad things happen. It gets communicated. This is also the woman that got into a pissing match with a neighbor because they had a Trump sign, an anti-Trump sign.
Yeah.
Was it Fudge Trump?
Yeah, Fudge Trump.
And she was all offended that school children go by your house in the middle of the pandemic when they had this sign up. So,
wasn't the classiest sign, but hey, guess what? You got a First Amendment right.
Yeah. The lesson to be learned here.
For some card to come up. I was about to say the only other card without a flag is this one, and you've got the cape.
Yeah. Well, in this case, the lesson to be learned is the Sun card. All of your actions can be seen. There's no mystery. There's no confusion. People know who you are. You live and love the fact that your husband's a Supreme Court justice, but it's also there are things that bind you for that you can't just fly whatever flag you want without some sort of consequence because people can see it.
I do wonder I don't know if there's a revenge card in the deck, but that's almost the vibe I get as a revenge card. It's like, oh, you're going to find out. Like kind of like the Hermit cards, the find out, but that's like a find out card. Like, oh, you don't like what I am? You don't like who I am? You just wait. I'll show you who I am.
Mm-hmm. I would think some revenge that had to be something of swords, like a Knight of Swords.
You would think.
Outcome is the 2 of Pentacles. So it could be a situation where she's trying to balance her role as supportive spouse versus her role as the silent Supreme Court justice partner, guiding policy. But I always get this as the MAGA card, just trying to advance that MAGA agenda forward.
It's also, they talk about keeping multiple balls up. But look, they also have the turmoil in the sea behind it. And I think that's, to me, is where she is. She is a disturber. She is a chaos agent. She causes turmoil probably in their marriage. I think whereas the Thomases get along really, really well, I don't think the Alitos get along really, really well.
I think she's very headstrong is the impression I get. And that
and he basically defers.
Yeah, he can't not that he can control it, but he doesn't have the influence.
They're not equal. They're not partners with equal powers. Yeah. And she wants more. And I think that maybe that's what that 2 of Coins is. It's showing that she is always up here as power and control, and he's down below. He defers to her, and that's fine. I mean, your relationships may vary. Sometimes it's hard to have 2 people in charge. usually end up locking horns when you have two people in charge.
Yeah, it's like having a twin tarot channel.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is when you let one person in charge, if they're not, if you're not equal in power, then you're going to have a shift in that power dynamic, and the person in charge is going to start imposing themselves on you. You have to have boundaries, and they will impose themselves over your boundaries. And I think that's where that Eight of Swords card's coming in, is that, you know, Sam Alito is like, what have I done? I'm supposed to be... I bet you if his wife disappeared for 5 years, he'd be the happiest he's been in a long time, living on his own, Supreme Court justice, gets to decide what he's going to eat for breakfast in the morning, what he eats for lunch, what he does for dinner, what he does with his spare time on the weekends, you know, that sort of thing. I think he probably needs some bachelorhood more than most.
Oh yeah, he needs a little wife vacation.
Yeah, he needs a wife vacation. I don't know
put
how
her
he's
out on
going
the
to
sailboat, or maybe he needs to go on a little sailboat trip.
Yeah, we could put her on a 6-month cruise. Bye, have a great time.
No, it's just a 3-hour tour, dear.
pack this trunk full of clothes. Are you saying that's what happened with Ginger Grant?
Maybe.
Her husband probably wanted access to the mirror.
Oh, no, you can't have that. Yeah, she's the only surviving cast member of that show. Tina Louise is she's the last woman standing on that one. Yep. Okay, that's what I got for this.
Yeah, I'm good with this too. Thank you everyone for watching this video and supporting our channel. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, if you like these videos, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We put out a new video every night at midnight. Leave a comment. I read them all, respond to many.
Yes, and remember, this is the original Twin Tarot channel. Don't be fooled by those fake wannabe Twin Tarot channels that involve no twins. Is just like one person.
Yes. Yeah, we give shout outs and secret cards. Like to Denise A, who always has this friendly alien.
I'm going to look at the card first. Phew.
Don't
want to pull out like the double card or something.
No,
like
no. Yes, you guys start looking now.
Yeah. Easier to do on StreamYard.
Thank you so much, Denise. She's a very, very
generous person who gives Gary lots and lots of comments.
lots of money.
All the comments.
Barbara Sobel, who I gave her a shout out the other day because she's not David's #1 fan. But she also says...
Well, I guess not David has to have #1 fans.
She says, Sunday is my birthday. Can I get a happy birthday from...
happy birthday.
Yeah, this video will come out on Sunday. It'll be a couple days late, but happy birthday, Barbara. Yeah. And then, oh dear.
Don't let age define you.
Yes, exactly.
You define the age. 29 and counting. This might be the 40th anniversary of your 29th birthday.
Let's give a shout out to Terry Jo Peterson.
Terry Jo Peterson.
She's a blue dot in a red sibling group. So sorry.
How do you grow up with so many idiotic siblings? Yeah.
Get out your big stick there, Terry Jo. And then let's wrap it up. We'll do 2 more. We'll do Anna Mouse, or I'm sorry, Anonymous.
Oh, Anonymous. It's like Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Me.
Yes, I got to think about that. And then from Canada, and -X7S.
Yeah, I'll keep those tariffs up. Don't buy those American products.
Yeah, both Anonymous.
Mrs. Butterworth ain't worth it. You got trees over there. Just tap in.
Anonymous and Anna are both very active in the comments. So totally appreciate all you folks that leave comments. Really, it's very interesting what you have to say, and just your positive words really help. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Take care. We'll catch you on the next video.
And for the rest of us,
the secret
card. The Page of Swords. Don't go rushing off and attacking everything in front of you.
Why not?
Make sure they're the foes before you start swinging that sword at them.
Except for the red siblings, you can just go ahead and have at it. What do they know?
Use the club instead of the sword. It's a little less permanent.
Yeah, they're not intelligent enough to take this sharp, witty comments. You have to club over the head with the obvious dumb comments.
Indeed. Take care, folks.
Take care. Bye. Bye. super secret card. Ace of Swords.